In this part, we're going to talk about multiple columns in CSS and some user interface settings and tricks that we can have. So first of all, let's say we have simple h1 right here, which tells this is some text about web. And after this, here we have simple paragraph tag with lots of text going on here. So let's say we have 300 words like here. You see, this is how it's gonna show to us. But maybe we don't want this to be this solid thing, and we can have multiple columns all along our web page and show them in those. So for that, we're going to select our parent tag, which here is our body, that we can have maybe some simple div here instead of our body. And here inside our div, we're going to use our column-count property. So here we can define how many columns that we want our document to have. For example, let's say we want 2 here. Now you'll see it's going to start from here, come all along to here, and then continues from top of the second one right here. And you see we have this kind of gap between our columns that we can control this too. So to control that, here we write our column-gap property and give this what we want. For example, let's say we want this to be 20 pixels. We write that, and here we have that. We can have 50 pixels, you see right here. For example, we can make this 50 pixel, and now you'll see we have 50 pixel gap between our columns. And here you can make this 0 to have no gap right here, but this is not good, so I'm gonna make this 5 pixel here. But you see, these are not divided very good. So we can have another thing of column role that we can define, and that has 3 parameters. First one is our column role style, which how we want the style of our role. For example, let's say I want mine solid here. After this, we have column role color right here. Let's say I want mine to be red. And then after this, we have column role width, which here we can define how we want the width of our role to be. For example, if I make this 5 pixel, you can see this is going to be thicker right here. And you can use this along with gap to have better results here. So let's make this 2 pixel here and have some gap. This is how it's gonna show. And of course, you can have your shorthand of column role right here. So you write only, for example, 2 pixels, solid red right here, and you get the same result as before. And pay attention that you can change your count of columns, and still they're gonna divide all of them by these rules right here. For example, let's say we want to have 4 of them right here. Okay, doesn't matter, it's gonna change automatically. But you see, we don't want our title to be this kind only in the one. We want this to go all along our web page, and then other things going on here. We can have this separately in the top of our div to have this just like this, or we can have this in our container div, and here we need to target our heading and give this column-span property. And if I make this all right here, you see it's gonna take all of the space that it needs and go 100 in the width. And then the content is going to divide below that. But let's say we have this kind of aspect ratio for our website, but maybe you don't want your columns to be this kind of thing. You want them all off, for example, to be in 100 pixel, 200 pixel. You can do that by removing this column count, and here instead of that, add your column width property. And here you can give, for example, 100 pixel, and that is going to divide your text to multiple 100 pixels right here. Again, you can have anything that you want. Maybe you wanted 300, 500, doesn't matter. It's gonna do the thing automatically for you. Another thing that we're going to talk about in this part is our resize property in our user interface. So when we have some things that we can resize in our web page, let's say we have our text area right here. You see here we can write anything that we want and we can resize this as we want. But here we have some tricks to avoid and control them too. So we can have select our text area right here, and here we have our resize property that we can make this, for example, horizontal. Now you'll see if I want to change and resize my text area, I only can do it horizontal and not vertical. And again, we have this for vertical too. And in this mode, I can change only for vertical and not horizontal. And we have the both keyword that I can change both of them as before. And pay attention that we have this non-value here, which don't let me to resize any more. And we can have anything work with these resize things. For example, let's say here we have simple div here with some heading inside of this with title here. And then maybe we have some paragraph right here, then a line here, and some other words. Now here, if I select my div instead of my text area right here, and give this, let's say, border of 1 pixel solid black to show to us, you see this is our div. And if I make the resize of this, for example, horizontal, and make my overflow to hidden, you see now we got this thing going on that I can change width of my div right here. And of course, you know that we have this for vertical. So here I can change this based on vertical values. And of course, I can have this in both option, which I can change however that I want. And I can have this none to this to be the fix and can't change anything of this. Here, let's say we have our border to be thicker 5 pixel right here. And then after this, we have another outline right here, which again is 5 pixel solid, but maybe in the red color. So you see how we have these two beside each other. And we can actually make the text of our div to be centered so this display nicer. And then we have another thing that we can have to pass a space between this red and black line right here. And we are going to use that by our outline offset property. That here, for example, if I give this 5 pixel right here, you see now we have this 5 pixel gap going on all along our border, offset, and outline.
Please give a like and subscribe to catch next videos.